Hey guys, it's Jana from Ballerinas by Night, and as you can tell, today we're going to talk about pointe shoes, because I'm tired of talking about being quarantined and isolating. So let's talk about pointe shoes. I have recently come to the conclusion that I adore Freed of London pointe shoes. I've always liked them, but didn't know if they really worked for me, and I've discovered that they do work for me, and I absolutely adore them. But I feel like it's been a process figuring out the differences in all of these shoes, because it was kind of like a mystery to this brand. I mean, not really, you can find out information, but I think like because they're all handmade and they're so like customizable that it's not often like a stocked shoe for local dance stores. I think also because these shoes don't last as long, and dance stores are usually fitting students who need longevity with their shoes. I think it's a shoe kind of catered more towards a professional dancer, so therefore I think there's not a lot of information out about them for students, so you're not kind of like carrying that information on, of course, unless you go to a school that's like a freed school like SAB or P&D. Oh my god, I just got a text. We're gonna be able to get margaritas delivered to our houses during this quarantine. Woo, margarita time. I feel like you're kind of far away. Let me pull you in closer. There, that feels better. You guys can probably hear me a little bit better closer too. So basically, if you don't know anything about Freed shoes, they are handmade shoes. In the UK, they've been making shoes for a very long time. I should have looked up the stats before I filmed this. And they basically make like classics and studios in the broad sense. Classics are all handmade shoes. Studios are stock manufactured shoes. But within each of those, there's different kinds and customizations. So there's like so many options that I think it can get really overwhelming. So basically what I just want to share with you guys is what I've learned so far about Freed pointe shoes. Take all of this as just what I personally think is right. I haven't actually like confirmed any of this with Freed of London, but this is kind of what I've learned from doing my own research online, talking with other dancers, and just my own experience with like trying a different variety of shoes. So starting with just like the Freed Classic, which is like the most popular shoe. These are all handmade. So there's different makers, and the makers, they each have their own style of making the box and the platform differently. So you kind of have to try different makers to see which one fits you the best. So it's kind of a pain in that way if you can't access a place to just try a variety of makers. I know like at my local dance stores, like I can't go in and expect to just try a bunch of Freeds. Like I'll be lucky if they even carry Freeds. So that's, I think, part of the reason why it's been so difficult to figure all this stuff out, is because there's just not an option to really research in person, which is like the easiest. But anyway, so the Classic, I think they all come with the deep vamp, which every shoe is always stamped on the bottom with the features of the shoe. This one is just a deep vamp. That's it. Everything else about it's regular. This is a cross maker, and the platform is pretty small on it, and the box is pretty narrow. The shank on it is a full shank, I guess. So it's not 3/4. So I have another Classic shoe. This is the same width, the same length, 6.5 1X, but this is the A maker, and you can see the difference in these shoes. It's the same shoe, but a different maker. So the vamp length is different. Even the color of this shoe is different. Like this one's way more light pink, and this one's more of the peachy color. I don't know if they were just made in different years or something, I don't know. But as you can see, like the platforms are different. The height of the box is different. Even the length is different. It looks like it, at least. This looks like a longer shoe even though it's the same length. I have no idea. That just goes to show, because these are all not custom, because they're all handmade, that everything can be different every single time. Also, the platform on this one with the A maker is really, really, really flat. This is the most flat Freed shoe I've ever had. Even my Classic Pro 90, I don't feel like is this sharp of an angle, so it's been really interesting. This is a Classic shoe from a professional dancer that I got off of eBay. These shoes work wonderfully for me. I like them a lot, so I'm gonna be able to order a few more from her, because this is from a maker that retired, so now she's using somebody else, so she's just getting rid of these old shoes. So this is again a 6.5 1X classic shoe by the O maker, but this shoe is 3/4. So it's the same classic shoe here, but the shank has been cut at the 3/4 point, whereas this one has not. These have a deep vamp, and they also have the wing block. So if it says wing on the back of the shoe, that just means there's extra glue in the wing of the shoe, which I like a lot because I have really long, flexible toes. Nothing else about my foot is flexible. Like my ankle's not flexible. I basically have no arch. But my toes can bend all day long. So it helps for me to have something kind of strong in here, and then the rest of the shoe, if it just like folds over, that works really well for me. And then she had it swapped out cotton drawstring and has an elastic drawstring. I think that's better for me too, for my Achilles. But anyway, so it's stamped in the back and it says Fortiflex. What I think that means is that it is a 3/4 shank. Because I think that the Pro, when the shoe says it's Pro, that means 3/4 shank. But if you call this classic a Pro, then it's not the classic Pro shoe. It's a classic shoe with a 3/4 shank. So this is what I've deduced, is that Fortiflex means 3/4 shank if it's on a shoe that's not a Pro. So this shoe definitely, like the platform on it has that like rounded feeling. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but a lot of things about Freeds, that because the platforms are not very flat, there's kind of like this round feeling on it. These definitely have that, and it's interesting to feel the difference in that, especially with like these other classics that are like a sharp angle. When I go from swapping out those pairs, I can definitely feel like the roundness of these. But for me, it doesn't bother me because my feet are just like, I'm just not very flexible, and I kind of need as much motion as I can get. So I think that's kind of what's really drawn me to the Freed shoes versus like a really strong shoe. Like I just hate how in like a Grishko or a Russian, like it takes so long for me to get the shoe where my foot can work in it. Which is I think why I like Freed so much, because they're so lightweight and like they like mold to your foot really well, and I just like having this feeling that there's not really a whole lot extra on my foot to work through. So that's why I've started to love Freeds. It does suck that they die pretty quickly, but I mean in my case, you know, I'm dancing on them in class like once a week, maybe putting them on twice a week for other work, so you know I'm not killing them too fast. Okay, anyway, moving on from the classics, we have the Classic Pro. I was fitted for this at the Freed store in New York City a few years back. The Classic Pro shoe has the 3/4 shank already in it, as you can see here. I don't remember if the heel was popped when I got them or if I did it myself. I cannot remember, but anyway, so you can see how flexible that is. This shoe is, it's just beautiful. I adore the way this fits me. It's just like everything about it is perfect except the platform on the Classic Pro shoe. Because it's angled, it's not totally flat. It goes kind of like that. I'm exaggerating just to show you, but yeah, it angles forward, so it pushes you really far forward. And for me, just not having very flexible or strong feet, it's too much. Like I can't actually balance on it, and I feel like it really strains the top of my foot, like it stretches it too much. If I were to order customs, I would probably get this without the angled platform, because they just like fit my feet so well, and I love the way that it's like 3/4 right here. It's just beautiful. Oh my goodness. So anyway, but so if you don't like the angled platform, they do make the Classic Pro in the 90, which is the flat, completely flat platform. For me, because this is so sharp, for some reason, I guess they make the box taller on all of them, and I need a really, really flat box because my feet have such a low profile. So like the difference in the height of the box on the Classic Pro versus the Pro 90, you can see that there's just a lot more box in this one, and my feet just don't fill it out, so they tend to like sink down in it, and that just freaking hurts. I don't know if I tried a different maker in the Pro 90, if that would make a difference. It might. Otherwise, like, I love this shoe, you know, and I can make a lot of shoes just work, so I will. Even putting these on for this video, I was like, oh, I got like a little bit of life left in these, so I think I might jet glue, see if I can get a couple more uses out of them. But yeah, this does have a 3/4 shank. As you can see, this one is still attached, so it's like not quite as flexible as the regular Classic Pro, but you can actually see where the board stops on the shoe. So I could just like pull that. I could just pull this last bit off if I wanted to. Also, I might go like to a no X width on the Pro 90 if they are like kind of this wide naturally. This regular Classic Pro is a no X, which is the most ideal for me, but for this particular platform it's too narrow, so I would need to go a 1X. But I do love how snug it is. Otherwise, I just really need like a snug shoe on my foot. Okay, so that's the Classic Pro series. And then there's the Studio series, which are the manufactured shoes. These are Studio Pros. So again, with the Pro, it means the shoe is already has a 3/4 shank in it. So as you can see, it's really flexible. And I actually cut it down even further for my foot to hit at my arch at the right point. I've had a couple pairs of these shoes. It was really my favorite like all of 2019. I really felt like this shoe helped me work through some Pointe stuff that I had issues with. It just made me not fear a lot of things with Pointe work. So I really appreciated this shoe. I feel like I've now run its course and I'm on to just like the regular Classic shoe. But this shoe does just still feel really nice on my foot. The Classic Pro does come with the V vamp. I don't know. I think there's a Studio, Studio 2, Studio Professional, and a Studio Opera. I think that might be all the studios. So there's different varieties within the studios. From what I can tell, the Studio and the Studio 2s have very small platforms. This one's pretty small too, but it's like, I think it's just like longer. But yeah, but then you can get the Studios customized, and if you get the Studios customized, then the shoe is now called a Maple Leaf. So as you can see, it just keeps getting more confusing. And from what I've been told about the Maple Leafs is that it's just generally like a harder shoe. Like the shank is harder and the box is harder, but you can customize them like you can the other shoes, but it's the Studio based shoe. I think if you do call free to order custom shoes, I think it takes like 2 to 3 months to get them. I know they do like trial pairs. They'll send you those first. I've never done that process. I'm kind of interested in maybe doing it as I'm kind of getting down to figuring out like exactly what I need in a shoe, which is pretty exciting. So I would love to do a video about that process if I ever do it. But if any of you have ordered custom frees and you go that route, if you want to share in the comments any tips or information that you have about that process, that would be awesome. I'm sure I've left some things out that I've learned along the way. This is not an extensive overview of free shoes. Obviously, this is just kind of the basics of what I've figured out. Oh, okay, so reviewing my notes here on my phone, I forgot they also make a shoe called a wing block, which I think is a Classic shoe with the wings that have more glue. I don't know, maybe it's a Classic Pro with more glue in the wings. I'm not sure. Eek. Oh yeah, and my favorite thing, I totally forgot to mention this, but my favorite thing about being able to customize these shoes is that you can lower the sides of the shoe. Again, coming back to the fact that my foot is like flat as can be. A shoe that has like a lot of fabric on the side, like these ones, oh my god, you can't even like see my foot because there's just like so much fabric, versus like this shoe where you can see that it's cut down. So it kind of like just like skims the bottom of my foot, and it's just way more flattering, and it makes you notice your foot more than just like the shoe. So anyway, okay, I think I've chatted long enough. I hope this was informative if you've been looking into frees or just kind of curious about how they work. They're really beautiful shoes, they really are, and I like them a lot. Like I said, that they're really lightweight, they mold to my foot really easily. I think aesthetically they just look really nice. And I like how mentally it's not a lot of shoe for me to like think about. It just is kind of a part of my foot. So for me, that's why I really like them a lot. Not the greatest for doing just like regular point strengthening because they just die really quickly. So I like to be able to have them to like put them on in class like for center, and I just want to be able to dance and move around. They're really great for that. But like this morning I did Abby's Pointe class video that she did live on the channel here. You can go watch that video if you want to do a Pointe workout. But I started out putting my frees on and I was like, I'm gonna kill these if I keep doing this. So I switched to a pair of Russians that I have, and they're just, you know, they're just like hard, sturdy shoes. So, you know, I feel like the process of finding the right shoe for you never ends. That's what I believe. It's kind of fun. It's kind of a pain, but it's kind of fun. So yeah, let me know if this was fun and informative. If you have any other questions that I didn't cover, because I know there's stuff that I didn't talk about, just let me know in the comments below and I can try to get it answered for you, or maybe somebody else knows the answer and they can help out. Hope you guys are enjoying all the live classes that Abby's been doing during this self-isolation quarantine time. It's crazy. I'm really fortunate that she's been doing those live classes. I know it's a lot of work, so I feel really grateful that she's doing that and we're able to offer that to you guys, because I know it's just a really strange time to try to stay in shape and try to stay positive. So happy to bring that to you guys. I have a video going up tomorrow. It's another Pointe class. It's just like a 15-minute or less point work to do just like quickly after class if you don't have a lot of time. Just a couple of, I think it's like 6 or 7 combinations. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure to just subscribe to our channel here on YouTube if you haven't already and you want more ballet videos. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!